Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of the weekly Spielworxx chat season 2. My name is Uli Blennemann and I hope you are all well. And I'm already seeing Daniel here. He is on time, so wonderful. And there's Nick early. He's saying early today. Yes, you are. So everything is perfect. We have terrible weather here. So it has rained heavily. We had a thunder lightning. Now the sun is shining again. So yeah, well, strange weather these days. And hello, Claude. Yeah, on time too. So wonderful seeing you. Daniel, you are always a brute. When you're saying not a brute today, you are. You are for sure. Um, Matt, hello Matt, season 2. I hope this season we learn what happened to all the cliffhangers from season 1. Yes, so for example, the cliffhanger was what's your favorite hockey team? And I guess it's the Roosters, but we'll see. Yeah, um, climate and change. You saw the climate report yesterday, World Climate Report, and I had hoped in my age that I would not be affected too badly in my life span. But yes, I will be. I'm 100% sure. And for young people, mm, it will be interesting times from 2025, 2030, or 2040. I'm absolutely sure. Sunny and warm in Quebec as well. Hartford Whalers, no. Nobody wants to talk about them, Daniel. So I will start with some industry news, then move to the Smoky Valley by Claude Serrois, because that's Spielworxx' next release. If you are, as always, if you are having any questions or comments, please put them in the chat window. And of course, Claude will be my guest on August 31. And then we will talk, Claude and I, we will talk about the Smoky Valley in real detail. Claude, of course, knows everything about the Smoky Valley. He will tell you everything about the game. Today it's more a detailed teaser. So you may have heard that I do not like Discord. So I'm very much an analog person and try to have a digital footprint that is as small as possible for a company. So I'm not using any Zuckerberg products, but I'm using Twitter. I'm using Twitch here, of course, which is owned by Amazon, and I also have a YouTube channel. But among the worst companies in this field is Discord. So first, make no mistake, the service they are offering is fantastic, especially for gamers, because they have audio, they have rooms, they have video, and this is fantastic. And everything is, most is free. And nobody else offers such a good service for free. And this is already the most important point. Why doesn't it cost anything? So, and after all, nothing is really free. And at Discord, very much you are not the customer, you are the product. Because Discord doesn't even have end-to-end encryption. So even WhatsApp has end-to-end encryption. But at Discord, everything can be read, and they are telling you that they will sell everything that is at least somewhat useful. So my question for today is, shall Spielworxx offer a Discord server despite all of this? Because there are so many companies out there, game companies, and it's important that you are visible. And I mean, most people simply do not care about their data. And this is, of course, valuable. And already a lot of you gamers, and privately, I've used Discord because it was demanded. So I know Discord as a private person, as a gamer, but not as a company. And I know a lot of you are already at Discord, but Discord bothers me a lot. But can tiny Spielworxx, tiny Spielworxx, fight this trend and not use Discord? So my question is, what do you think about Discord? And please let me know by mail later, or maybe you write something in the chat window over here. So, is there anything in the chat? What hockey team logo do you want on a hat? So, Daniel is saying that everything can be sold. That's why I never say anything useful on Discord. Yeah. Matt is saying you should only offer an official Discord if you or someone else is willing to administrate it strongly and carefully. But if it bothers you this strongly, don't bother with it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't simply say, well, this is a Discord server, now use it and do whatever you like. I think you need administration, and I have someone who could handle this, but still I'm bothered. So this is of course something. We got recently bad news from TMG. The company stopped producing any games, at least for the next few years. And they had really a few very interesting games, in my opinion, and they also licensed Gentes by Stefan Risterhaus. That was a co-license with Game Brewer, and of course they also licensed Diluvia Project from me. And Diluvia Project in the TMG edition is likely a black swan, because they released the game at Gen Con 2019, but quickly afterwards they withdraw this edition because the game boards were warping badly. And to my knowledge, and it already was very difficult to get in touch with TMG over the last 12 months, the reprint of the boards never happened, which is sad, because in my opinion the Diluvia Project is a fantastic game. But TMG Diluvia Project, if you have a copy and the boards are not too bad warping, so I think you have a real black swan here, and too bad about GMT in general. And I received here in Germany the pre-production copy of Pax Pamir, German edition, second print, and it really looks good. And let us hope now that shipping will work out nicely from China. You know all about these timing and pricing problems. Yeah, we'll see. And Daniel is saying Diluvia Project is one of my favorite Spielworxx titles. Yeah, this was done by Alexandre Garcia, a Portuguese, but he is living in France and he's working as a game designer over there. A very nice and intelligent fellow, which I see in normal years at least at Essen. So yeah, maybe somebody else will pick up this game in the future. And hello Chris, good seeing you. Hello to the UK. Crescent City Cargo has arrived here, and I have about 20 plus copies remaining. So if you are in Europe, shipping to overseas is too costly in my opinion. So if you are in Europe and are interested in this fantastic game by Jason Dinger, number 2 in the Cajun, hopefully that pronunciation was alright, in the Cajun trilogy, so please check out my web store if you are interested in this game. Games played. I had the chance to play Caesar Rome vs. Gaul last Saturday. That is here face to face. That is a CDG by Mark Simonich and GMT Games. And to my mind, if you are a fan of card-driven games, check the game out. It is highly asymmetric too. So Caesar and the Romans and the Roman army, they are surely the much stronger side, but their tasks are enormous in the game. They need to subjugate tribes in Gaul, they need to react to threats, and they need to invade Britannia and Germania. Whereas the Gauls mainly try to harass the Romans. So I think it's a very interesting situation. I've only played it once. I can't say anything in detail about it, about the balance, but It is recommended, and here is the URL. Let me post this one over here. So Caesar Rome vs. Gaul, a very nice CDG, and among war games or card-driven games, it's on the simpler side, which doesn't mean that it's on the shorter side, because I think BGG, the page says 120 to 240 minutes, which is really laughable. Um, a total of 16 times 6, a total of 96 cards is played by the two players. Um, and this is impossible to do in 240 minutes, because you're then moving pieces and do this thing. There's an administrative phase at the end, at the start of a game turn, especially at the start of your turn. In a game round, you are having 8 cards in your hand. So for a CDG, a pretty large hand, and then select the right card for the start. And do I use the event? Do I use the points? This will take time. So 120 minutes for Caesar, yeah, probably if you are blindfolded, this can happen, but otherwise impossible. Conventions. Gen Con had news update yesterday, so from now on, they are saying at Gen Con that mask wearing is now mandatory again at all times in the exhibition center. So Gen Con here is following Spiel and Essen in this regard. In my opinion, seeing the numbers again, the COVID numbers, I think it's absolutely necessary. And so Daniel is saying perfect pronunciation for Cajun. Oh, I'm surprised. You seem to be very nice today, you brute. So yeah. And Matt is asking, are you meeting up with local game testers again, or is the vaccine pandemic situation still too dangerous? I'm meeting again. So my first meeting for testing was on July 12th, so I'm fully vaccinated. I'm only meeting with fully vaccinated people, and still, you all know this, you have to be careful. Luckily, here in my area in Germany, it is one of the so far safest areas looking at the numbers. I will be very careful in the future, but I'm testing again. Yesterday evening, I had a nice first time test, so I do this again. And so Raising Chicago will be on my table soon again, hopefully, and hopefully the numbers are not increasing too fast that everything is shut down again, but we'll see. So yes, I'm meeting some gamers again. The Smoky Valley by Claude Sirois. This will be Spielworxx' next release, and probably it will be possible to pre-order the game in mid-September from my website and from Spieleschmiede. And in the US, it will be available from the BGG store. As I already mentioned, please remember Claude will be my guest on August 31, and this will be a more detailed look at the game. Today, this is a detailed teaser on the game. So, what is the Smoky Valley? The Smoky Valley is number 2 in the Griffintown series by Claude. Game number 1 was a Grand Trunk Journey, and mechanically both games are very different. And the Smoky Valley is surely the slightly more complex one. It is a Euro core gamers game. So, and in complexity, and in Germany, you know, we have this Spiel des Jahres, family type games. We have Kennerspiel des Jahres, so more for experts. And this is surely a little bit above the Kennerspiel range. Yeah. And the game has been in development and testing for a long time, and many different testing and development stages we had up to now. And already in late 2019, the game was in good shape, in my opinion, and we had a great test session at BGG-Con with Smooks from Taiwan, with Shari and Chris from the US. But afterwards, when the pandemic started, we moved the game to Vessel, and many online tests were held, and changing the game quite a bit based on feedback, based on new ideas. And Claude is really a fantastic designer, and the feedback from the vessel testers was both constructive and really good, but also very enthusiastic. So I'm really thankful to the testers. So that was well done. And I will now check the chat window again, and then I will move to the vessel module to show you a few things. So Daniel is saying, really looking forward to raiding Chicago. Yeah, you played an earlier version of the game, so yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'm also happy that this area so far is pretty safe. Daniel is saying, I like Grand Trunk, but hearing that Smoky Valley is more complicated has my interest piqued. Yeah. Yeah, the Grand Trunk journey is really innovative. Matt is saying that it is so good, really looking forward to it. Thank you very much. And Chris is agreeing. So yeah, what I'm saying now, why should I describe it? You all like it already. So done, chat, ended. Yeah, that Claude seems to be a young upcoming designer. I agree, Matt. He is. Yeah. So let's see. And Claude is saying, not that young, unfortunately, you are a wonderful young gentleman. So I will now move to the vessel module to show you more of the game. Please keep in mind what you see here. Most of the graphics have been done already. It's the prototype. It's prototype graphics, because they are right now integrated into the vessel module, so this makes it a little bit easier for me. And please bear with me, because normally when I'm opening vessel, I have it in two monitors, but now I will move everything to one monitor, so likely I can't see everything, you can't see everything, so I'll try as good as possible. And I will also show you the play aid, which is basically done as a reference. So this will also move to that monitor. So please bear with me. So let me see. Let me open this one over here. And hopefully you can see now the main board. And as I said, these are, of course, you guessed it, test graphics. In the Smoky Valley, you are an investor promoting the industrial and economic development of Griffintown during the 19th century. Your goal is to get the most prestige points for participating in the development of the city, so it becomes the most prosperous place in North America. During the game, you will build industries, produce and process goods, and sell those goods locally or export them to foreign markets. You will also be solicited to participate in the widening and modernization of the, and again my pronunciation of the Lachine Canal, I think it's Lachine, but Claude may correct me, which has just been opened. Besides these activities for the good of Griffintown and your own wealth, so we are in a game, so own wealth is important, you will also have to stimulate the development of the city to boost economic activities, provide public services, and increase the quality of life of citizens. If your actions are well received by the citizens and your popularity raises faster than your opponents, you may even become the mayor of the city. This office will offer you the chance to influence the city's development for the best of your interests as well as the citizens, of course. And in this game, there are 5 game rounds. Let me enlarge this. So where you are doing actions. So it's 1840, 1845, 1850, 1855 and 1860. And you see there are a lot more rounds in between, but these are quickly played. I won't mention them today. So you do actions as a gamer in these 5 rounds, 1840 to 1860. So what do you do in the game? As in a lot of games, you try to win the most points in the Smoky Valley, and here in this game they are called prestige points. And let me make this a little bit smaller again, and you see that there are 5 districts in the game in Griffintown. So McCourt, St. Anne, St. Gabriel, Le Bassin, again my bad non-existent French pronunciation, and Wellington. here, and the latter three are located at the canal. So let me just see. Daniel is saying Uli fights a Modi tower. Yeah, well, I'm doing it's a real tower. Um, Claude is saying, yeah, final artwork has nothing to do with the prototype drawing, and you did a great prototype, so everything is clear here very well. The game should be a breeze. Daniel is saying he's very good at earning points. Yeah, but are you good at earning prestige points? I'm not that sure. So let me open some player boards for the blue player. So each player has 2 boards in the prototype. Now you see what I'm saying with opening different windows. And this is the blue player's player board. And during the game, you see at the bottom, you may acquire 1 city card per district. But most important is the track at the top. It tells you how many pounds you have. Here at the start of 1840, you start with 8 pounds. And most actions that you do, they cost money. And here in this part, you are placing resources. So you start with these 5 basic resources, and these are processed goods and machines. And here on the action board, you see there are also cards. They are put on here, but they can be swapped, so moved to different places. So of the 5 districts, and you see a ship. And in the game, what you are doing is per turn, per player turn, you either move your ship downstream, so to the right, which does not cost any money. Moving downstream, because it's not an action, doesn't cost anything. But later, let's assume you're already here and want to do some actions in Wellington and need to move again to the left. You are moving upstream, so this costs you some money. So again, no action, but still, just for moving upstream, you have to pay money. Same is true, let's say I did something at Wellington and I'm again, it's my turn. I want to stay at Wellington stationary. I again have to pay money. So that's this action board, as we are calling it. So what can you do in a turn? So let me open the player aid card to make it more interesting. So it has 2 pages, and you see this is basically done. And here are the district actions and the tiles we are using in the game. So number A is you may build an industry which costs 2 money, and you need to spend resources, but you are gaining 1 popularity for doing something that is good for the city. So let's again look at the board. Let me close this. And let's say I want to do something, I want to build an industry in St. Anne because I'm currently here at St. Anne. So I can only build over here. So I could build grain silos over here, so I'm placing them over here. Of course, I need to mark them so that everybody knows that I'm owning them. So I'm taking a disc out of here. And of course, as I said, this will cost 2 money and I need to pay resources. Let me enlarge this. So you see that the grain silos, they cost 1 wood and 1 iron here. So I need to pay because I'm starting with a wood and an iron. I'm not deleting these at this moment, but you get the idea. And now I'm having nice grain silos in St. Anne. But I could also instead upgrade an industry. Of course, I already need to have this industry in place. And this costs just £1, but I'm not gaining any industry. Gaining any popularity doing this. And the upgrade costs are over here. So again, to upgrade this, I need to pay a wood, which I need to have, and then this one is upgraded. It's flipped, and you see I'm also getting 3 prestige points for upgrading this fine industry here. So that is upgrading. Of course, you may also produce in an industry or in industry. So this would be the third action. And you are paying £1 per industry where you want to produce goods. And I can produce goods in an industry that I'm not owning. And so I could pay £2 here. Let me move back. Let's see, I could pay £2 and produce in this wood depot. Yes, with a pound symbol. Then I would get 2 wood. And here I'm getting 3 grain. And let's assume this would be an industry owned by a different player, let's say by the green player. That player would get the items that are in brackets. So that player would also get a grain and he would get a prestige point. And if you, in one district, if you are producing in at least 2 industries owned by other players, you get 1 popularity. So this may be also a useful idea to do this. What can I do too? I can develop a service which also costs a point, which gets me a popularity and which costs a resource. Moving back to the board, and let me close this. Here are the services. So there are always, depending on the number of players, 2 or 3 services out. And I could take this service and place it in here. It will give me and later other players advantages. So there is a whole host of service tiles. And you see here in the 1840s and 50s, to place this service tile, you need to pay a coal. In 1860, it costs already 2 coals. 2 coal. Okay, so that is service tiles. I can also develop the canal, the Lachine canal. So that would be this action over here. It costs also a pound, some resources, but I will get a popularity. In the first parts of the game, I will widen the canal. Later, I will modernize it. So let's take a look here. These are the canal tiles. They are put out randomly and I may pick some of them. So in the widening phase, 1840, I need to pay a brick here and then I can pick up a tile. So let's see. And by the way, because we are normally in St. Anne, you cannot do this over here. I could do this in St. Gabriel because it's located in the canal. But for this example, let's say it's allowed and I would pick one of these and place it over here, for example, and then it will give me advantages each time later I move back to St. Anne. So these are connected to over there. And you see some of these canal tiles, they are also good for several cards like this one. So for the one above and for the one to the left and to the right. And of course then these are refilled afterwards. So these are the canal tiles which are really useful. If you have at least 1 industry in your district, you may purchase a city card over there. So that is you need to have at least 1 industry, otherwise you can't purchase a city card. And of course they will also bring you advantages. So, and I would then, oops, sorry, wrong window. I would take one of the available cards and put it over there. There's only 1 card per district allowed, and then a new card would be placed over here. And they are all good and will bring you popularity and advantages. So finally, what you can do, and this was here, by the way, this is acquire a city card. And finally, or almost finally, you can board a trader or ship goods. This is possible in the canal locations, but no, I think from everywhere. But if you see on my action board, it's not always that it's everything is possible all everywhere. So in St. Gabriel, in Wellington, and in La Bassine, the ones at the canal, you can load goods on ships. In McCourt, in St. Anne, I can just board a trader on ships. So let us close this and let us take a look down at the canal. So there are already some ships out there at the start of the game, and more will come later each turn. And they have three destinations, three foreign markets. So Great Britain, the US, and the Western Indies. And all of these foreign markets, they have various demands for goods. So in the US wants flour, they want beer, brick, and coal. And they give various amounts of victory points. So not everything is the same. If I want to board trader, I would simply place one of my guys over here at this ship, and there can be only one trader per ship. If I would load goods on a ship, I would, let me just clone this, I would put them in the spaces over here. And it's possible that there are goods from several players on a ship. As soon as the ship is full, it will leave to the market, and the trader will give bonuses, and the goods will earn you prestige points. And of course, before you load the first good, you have to determine what is on this ship. So for example, here it's floor. And so let's say there's just one good here on this ship. Other players, they now have to load floor on this ship. They can't now say, well, it's now beer or whatever. So this is also important in the game, and will get you quite a few points during the game. It's actually my favorite strategy, but it's not a game-winning strategy, I fear. The final action what you can do is free actions trade at the local market. So this can be done in addition to your action, and it's basically that you switch some goods swap some goods for a pound, or exchange goods. And these are the actions, and the players will play till they pass. And you have to pass if you have no money left, but you can go into the next round with some money left. And the first player passing, he can choose a pass bonus, so which could be one more pound for the next turn, or an additional good, or swapping two of the cards. So if you're thinking, this is not good, St. Gabriel has to be in front of St. Anne, then you can swap two cards. And the last player doesn't get any bonus, but at least he will be first player in the next turn. So that's what you're doing. And definitely what the Smoky Valley is not, it's not a game about shipping. Yes, shipping is quite important, but it is also very important to develop the city and to be popular, because at 3 times the mayor is elected, which is quite important. Here's the mayor. He can do some nice stuff, and he will earn some great points during the game. So let me just close this for a second. I'm back, and you see sun is shining again here. I hate this when it's coming through in this way. Otherwise I like the sun quite a bit. And remember, in late August, Claude himself is my guest, and we will talk about the game in much more detail. But let me see, is there I just caught here Uli is going to be so confused when he starts paying attention to chat again. Yes, Looney, I just now see Looney Trains 1860. Yes, I'm confused, but Daniel, as I said, you are a brute. Um, Looney Trains is the third game in this series. Yeah, well, you are a brute. Um, I'm really confused now. And Claude is saying Uli is usually the most unpopular man in town, so don't follow his advice on that point. Yeah, for most actions that you're doing in the game, you get popularity. You build an industry, you build a service, you are widening the canal, you do something for the city, and this is all earning you popularity. In the last two test games I did with Claude and with Henning, this developer extraordinaire, um, I try to do just shipping, so to earn quite a few points. But by shipping to foreign markets, you are not earning any popularity in Griffintown. And so I never was a mayor, and in the end, of course, this strategy did not bring the victory, which is good because, in my opinion, in a heavy Euro game, and this is a heavy Euro game, you need various ways to win the game. So, and I think it's a mixture. And in one game, Henning tried to win without doing any shipping, and this did not succeed as well. He was pretty close because Henning is also a good player, very good player, but in the end it did not win the game. Daniel, oh no, don't read the chat. No, I won't. And looking at the watch here, I think it's time to finish this. Hopefully, you gained some information on the Smoky Valley. It's a fantastic, heavy game, in my opinion. Um, should be available for pre-order in mid-September. And next week we are having a guest. It's a famous and wonderful Jeff Engelstein. And we will talk about a single game. It is the forthcoming Triumvir, co-designed with Mark Herman and to be published by GMT Games. And Triumvir uses some of the base mechanics of the fantastic, in my opinion at least, Versailles 1919. And yeah, we'll see. I'm really excited talking with the wonderful Jeff about Triumvir. So thank you for your time. If you would like to see a special topic discussed here in the future, or ask me a question in advance, please drop me a mail at uli@spielworxx.de. That is uli@spielworxx.de. And thanks for watching. Till next week. Bleibt alle gesund. Black Lives Matter. Bye bye.